Could it be possible that Meghan Markle is not too handy in the world of broadcasting? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to have your company. Now, I know many people this morning, today, whatever, will be devastated by the news that Meghan's last podcast for archetypes has now come to a conclusion. I know, black armbands everywhere. I don't know how my Tuesdays are going to be filled, do you? I'm pulling your leg, of course. But what I've heard last guests was none other than the Real Housewives host, Andy Cohen. Now, Andy's made a career about, well, seemingly, as Kathy Griffin pointed out, he couldn't really get started until he made himself the head of the television channel that now he decides to host programs on. Rather cutting, but some might say this was true. It was interesting, wasn't it, with Meghan and Andy as they sat down, because she pointed out that they'd actually met twice before. Didn't clearly make that much of an impression, and he seemed to be sort of slightly embarrassed, that type of thing. As I say, Andy is the host of Watch What Happens Live, a little watch sort of chat show over here, particularly in the United Kingdom. In fact, I don't know many people know that it exists. And then he created the Real franchise, that is the Real Housewives of, Beverly Hills, New York, you get the picture. This is a heavily scripted show where you get very rich socialites coming on, basically backstabbing each other in pretend situations and fallouts. You can see the sort of narrative that this is, not necessarily one which would have made a good topic for the very final sort of episode of something that was supposed to be all about compassion, kindness, and finding women's voices. You get the picture. But here's the deal, you see. I could understand why Andy and Meghan had truly not got on. I had the misfortune, fortune, whichever way you want to call it, of actually meeting Andy Cohen in London a couple of years ago. He was there to support his friend Sarah Jessica Parker of Sex and the City fame. And what was interesting, her husband Matthew Broderick was appearing on stage in a play, Big First Night. You wouldn't have thought so by the way that Andy rocked up to the theatre, looking like he'd slept in a skip overnight. He claimed was there just to support Sarah Jessica, all the while making sure that some cameras at least noticed him. It was sort of handily pointed out that it might be beneficial to have a quick chat to us, given the regards that we were helping to promote the play. He didn't want to do that, so we just stopped for the picture. It's interesting to know that Andy himself is trying to reinvent himself ever since now becoming a parent, That's the bonding factor, allegedly, with Harry and Meghan. But very strange, as I say. And more importantly for Meghan, she would have hoped that this would have gone out with a bang. After all, his particular show is supposed to be incredibly popular over in the United States. But seemingly, once again for Meghan, even after being called a diva by the superstar singer Mariah Carey, blasted out about the bimbo allegations and the boob station, on Deal or No Deal, the fire in Archie's bedroom, it's one sort of litany of strange stories that seemingly have no backup. Strange to think now that seriously the one memory may be the fact that once again, Andy Cohen, a little-known reality TV host, couldn't even remember meeting Meghan before. Oh, and apparently she stopped watching the reality show Real Housewives when her own life became more engulfed in daily drama. Now, what on earth could she have possibly been referring to? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.